is, yes, this is from EBSCO. So I have this article from Mark Horowitz et al. Now notice this is an HTML. This did not come as a PDF. So usually when we want to, when we find sources like this, so let me just go down here. So if I'm looking for information, ideally, I always want to do a PDF if it's available because a PDF will give me those page numbers that I can actually cite, right? So the rule of thumb is if I can see the page number on the screen when I'm looking at it on the computer, like right here, see I can see page 37, then I can cite it. But if I looked at the HTML version of this, notice there are no page numbers, right? Now, if I printed this off, right, my printer would put page numbers on here. It would say one of whatever, right? Well, it's not finding I'm on my Wi-Fi and it's, my Wi-Fi printer is not, so it's not finding, but it'd say one of 17 or whatever, right? I don't want that because that's not, that's what my printer puts on there. My printer might put a different page number than yours because my printer settings might be different, right? So those are not locked in place like a PDF's print page numbers are, right? So that's the problem with that, okay? So always want to go with PDF if we have them available. But for this one, there was only HTML, right? So I'm going to cite it. Now, if you're using something like EBSCO, you can come over here and you'll see that it has cite, and you can run down here and it'll actually give you the HTML or the MLA, right? You can just copy it if you want and paste it in. Now, you do have to maybe make some changes. There might be a few mistakes that you have to kind of fix, but you know, it's pretty much accurate. So here is the citation, right? So let me, so if you look over here, right, this is a citation by more than 3 authors, right? So I has 3 or more authors, right? So that means I have to use et al, not all 3 of them, because that's what MLA asks you to do. So that's what we've done right here. We've got Horowitz, comma, Michael C, period, comma, et al, period. Then I have the title of the article. Notice it's in proper title case. It is in quotation marks. Then I have the name of the periodical where it was published, and that's in italics. Then I'm going to have the volume and then the issue number. So whether it says number or issue on the actual magazine or periodical, we always abbreviate that to NO, right? Then I'm going to have the year. Now, even if it has the month and day, if you've got a volume and number, you just get to give the year, right? Now I'm going to give the page range. Now, because this is from a database, I'm going to put a period at the end of the page range. Then I'm going to give the name of the database, and I'm going to give the location in the database that it's from. So you've got 2 containers here, right? You've got the container that's the periodical and the container that's the database. And then you have 2 locations. You have the page range in the periodical, and then you have the location in the database, right? So you got 2 of those there, right? Okay, and so now here I have this quotation from the article, and this is a long quotation. That means that it's, when I type it in, it's longer than 4 lines. And so when I do that, I need to block indent it. And you block indent, I'll show you how you do that. Right? You just come up here to these little arrows, and I just take this as long as it's in a paragraph by itself. So if I'm typing a paragraph and I've got this long quote, I want to hit enter before and after the quote to set it off. And then I just hit that arrow to the right once, and it's going to block indent it. Okay. Now notice that I'm also now going to drop my quotation marks because by block indenting, I am telling my reader that this is a quote. All right. And then also my punctuation is going to change. I'm going to put the period here, right? And then I'm going to put the works cited or the parenthetical notation at the end there, right? Let me get back down to there. And notice nothing after that. All right. And now again, this was an HTML article, so I don't have a page number, right? So here you can see this long one. Now I have the summary. So notice how short the summary is. That's the beauty of summary, that I can say, instead of having to say all of this, I can just boil it down to the essentials, right? So now you can look at this and read it. This has all these details. So again, sometimes you want the details, sometimes you don't want the details. That's really just a matter of what you need and what you don't need, right? So here the summary. Now in this one, notice I don't mention Horowitz at all in the quotation, right? Here I do mention them. According to Horowitz et al., the DoD must change to keep up with the rise of AI and defense technology by recruiting those with STEM experience, training current staff, and offering other incentives to encourage people to take AI courses. And then parenthetical, Horowitz et al. Now, when I use the author's name in a lead-in, I usually don't have to repeat it here again, because I've already used it. Right here I have to use it because I didn't use it up here, right? So like down here, right here I say Herman here. I just have to put the page number here because I've already used her name. But if it's a web source that doesn't have a page number, it's always better to go ahead and put the name at the end just so your reader knows specifically where the citation ends. So that's your rule of thumb, that even though I've already led in with the name, I have to put a parenthetical notation at the end to let my reader know where my citation ends. And then the next sentence will be my own words, right? So that's why that's there. Okay, a print article from an online database. So EBSCO is an online database, but it's not the only one. So I wanted to show you a different kind of online database, and that is Google Scholar, right? And so it's just, you can say scholar.google.com. There are lots of, you can see right here, I have this folder that's just online databases. I mean, look at all of them, right? And these are mainly free online databases. There are a lot of online databases geared primarily to the social sciences, the hard sciences, things like that. And so again, you can find a lot of free information. This is the article that I'm looking at, right? And here is the actual, right? If I click on the PDF, right, which is what I want because that's going to give me the page numbers. So this is kind of the HTML version of it, which is a little easier to read, but I don't get those page numbers, and MLA says always use the PDF. Okay, so I am now going to look here. I've got the information that I primarily need is right up here at the top, right? So here's my author, here's the title. Now notice that I'm not going to use the capitalization that's here. I'm going to use the MLA rules for capitalization, right? So it doesn't matter how it's capitalized on the document. I always use MLA's rules, okay? And then up here, I've got the name of the magazine. I've got the year. I've got the volume. There is no issue here. Sometimes that happens. I got the page range, and then I have the location, which is the DOI. And this is in Springer, and so that's the database, okay? So I'm going to go here, and so here is my works cited entry. Author, last name, comma, first, the title in title case and in quotation marks of the source, the title of the container in italics and in proper capitalization, the volume, the year, the page range, and then a period, and then the database name in italics, and then the location. And again, that's going to be either a DOI or a URL. If you have both a DOI and a URL, always use the DOI. It's the more permanent link.